Yes, it is Tuesday. My name is Guy, and you are watching Off My Bridge. Now, we are looking at what I'm going to be doing in Blackpool at the end of the month of August. Well, I will be at Destinations, which is a big Star Trek convention, one of the longest running Star Trek conventions in the UK, for 3 days, where I will be running games of Star Trek for basically anyone who comes along and signs up at the table. Spots are limited, so if you are going to be there, please sign up early. What am I going to be running at Destinations? I am not going to be running anything that I have prepared. I am instead going to be using a different technique, which a friend of mine told me about, and I thought I would share the technique with you so that, well, maybe you can try it yourself. Flex your creative skills. And why not? You are a creative DM anyway. So what am I going to be doing? Well, I am going to be asking 4 questions of each of my players and writing down one of their answers. So each one will give me an answer to each of the questions. I'll choose one of those answers and write it down. What are those questions? And what am I going to do with the words that I've written down? Well, all shall be revealed. So the very first question is, what is your favorite Star Trek movie? And this could be from any one of the movies that we have. Any one of the movies that we have, including that awful Section 31 movie. Anyway, they can be from any one of them, and so I will get all my players and they'll tell me which Star Trek movie they really enjoyed. I will then ask them what is their favorite film of all time. It doesn't have to be Star Trek, it can be anything. So what is their favorite movie of all time? I will then ask each of the players which captain from any Star Trek series would they prefer to serve under? Could it be Pike? Could it be Picard? Could it be Seven of Nine? Yes, we haven't seen her technically. Well, we have seen her as a sort of ranger captain thing. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. Who is a Star Trek captain that they would like to serve under? And I'll write down one of those as well. And then the final question will be, what is their favorite food? Not the captain's favorite food, the player's favorite food. What's their favorite food? You kind of go, well, what on earth do these questions have to do with each other? You can kind of get an idea that the Star Trek film and the captain, maybe we remake the film using that captain. Would the Wrath of Khan be different if Sisko had been in charge of the Enterprise whilst Khan was running around stealing the Genesis device? Well, it would have certainly made it much more interesting. We wouldn't have had that whole ex-wife story. And Star Trek 3 would have been very different. It wouldn't have been the son of Kirk being killed. How would Sisko have changed? That's an interesting thought experiment, but not one that we are going to be doing, because that's not what we're going to be doing. So instead, I will then take a few moments, minutes perhaps, whilst my players are familiarizing themselves with the characters that they're going to be playing. I will take a few minutes to then look at the essence of each of those answers. So, for example, let's say they say Star Trek IV Voyage Home. What is the essence of that film? It's time travel, conservation, saving a planet, impossible odds, right? So I think that would be the essence. It's also revisiting Earth's history, part of time travel, right? So that's quite different if you think about the essence of Wrath of Khan. Or if you think about the essence of one of the later Star Trek films, then I look at their favorite film and I do exactly the same thing. What is the essence of that favorite film? Hopefully I know it, and if I don't, I'll jump onto good old Google and say to Google, hey, what's the essence of this, or what is the essence of that? Let's say their favorite film of all time is Gremlins 2, where the gremlins take over an entire smart building. What's the essence of Gremlins 2? Well, it's survival against all odds. It's rising up to be a hero. It's the failure of modern-day technology or reliance on technology. And it's hubris, I would say, are the cornerstones. Oh yes, and a wonderful dose of whimsical fantasy and fun. Quite different from The Voyage Home, although The Voyage Home did have a lot of humorous moments. Some very, very funny things. I'm looking at you, Montgomery Scott. Hello, computer. Anyway, So we then look at the essence of those two things, and you can see where I'm going. We then look at the essence of the captain. So let's say Captain Sisko, for argument's sake. Sisko was reluctant, depressed. He also embraced his destiny. He fought against his destiny. And he did what needed to be done without remorse. He did what needed to be done without remorse. I think that Sisko, when he took action, he might not have agreed with the actions that he had to take, but he took them without remorse. So that is Sisko in a nutshell. And then, of course, what's their favorite food? Let's say that they say steak, egg, and chips. In which case you go steak, egg, and chips. Well, that's a wholesome, hearty meal. It's a comfort food for sure. It's robust. It's not whimsical or light. It's good grub. It's a working man's meal, if you will. I kind of feel that steak, egg, and chips is very, very kind of old school, which is fun. So now we take all of those elements, fantasy, whimsy, collapse of technology, time travel, reliance on technology, hubris, not regretting one's actions, and we put it together into an adventure. And I think that you would agree with me that you go, okay, well, the time travel aspect is interesting, but I don't know if it's the only thing that we want to do. What if, instead of time travel, our crew instead go to a planet that's at a different time from a developmental stage? So let's say it's the age of sailing. And the PCs discover that there is an alien that has advanced technology and is basically manipulating this entire planet just for fun. And our heroes have to now go in and do something that they deeply regret, which may be to have to kill some of the local inhabitants who have gained knowledge from this alien technology and reset the course of this culture. They have to fix it in some way, shape, or form. It could even be a callback to one of the species that we've seen before, perhaps the Mintakans that Picard encountered and left as a safe, protected space, are being influenced by some Ferengi. Although that was kind of done in Voyager, so let's not use the Ferengi. Who else can we use? Someone who is sort of whimsical and crazy. Maybe it's Q. Maybe one of Q's children is trying to create a true pantheon where they are the god, or they're trying to turn somebody else into a god and see what that person would do. We can explore all kinds of options. But by looking at those different things, we start to build up a very different way of building an adventure. It's not coming from my head, it's coming from everybody else's head. And it incorporates answers, and if you have multiple players, you can incorporate different answers and things. I think it creates quite a fun thing. At the same time, you could also just go, well, what if we just redid a movie with a different captain, and the PCs are perhaps trying to stop that captain from doing something? Maybe they shouldn't be allowed to steal the Enterprise and make a daring escape to go and search for Spock. Maybe it would be Picard who is trying to diplomatically solve the situation, or something along those lines. Anyway, asking questions of your players is never a bad thing. It includes them in the creation process. It gives you the chance to think about adventures from a different perspective and to drive and look at things in a different way. That's it from me this week. If you have further questions that you would ask your players to help create adventure ideas, put it in the commentary down below. That would be fantastic to see what you do to kind of spark the imagination. Until next week, which is a very important episode if you have been following this channel, I will say long life and happy gaming.